I'm Nadiah Hunter, drinking at Mo's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinkin' at Mo's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody. Welcome, Drinkin' at Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, because that YouTube algorithm is a pain in the ass. We are most places you can find your audio podcast too. Today, I'm excited to have with me Nadiah Hunter. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. I mean, I got that little bit of news I was able to share with you before, and I got some good wrestling involved stuff coming up, including potentially being at the next Iowa stop of Wrestling Revolver.
Okay,
so
yeah.
That's going to be fun. We got a show for a promotion local to me a week from tonight, so that's going to be fun. So fun little time.
Absolutely. It sounds like a good time, especially with Wrestling Revolver. I know that's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah. Now, thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you finally getting into the business.
Absolutely. So as a fan, my cousin was just like a huge fan of wrestling and everything. And every time she came over to my house, she would watch it. And then one day I was just watching it with her, and I was like, you know what, this is really interesting. So it kind of stuck to me at that point in time. Then once I got older, once I got around maybe 18 or 19 years old, I found this podcast called Madman's Podcast. And it was like my favorite podcast at the time. And I would listen to them like every morning or evening whenever they came on, and had conversations with them offline. We would do like some of the fans just, talking about, the stuff in the industry. And then so happily my friend ran into a pro wrestler at her church and was like, oh, my friend, she loves wrestling and stuff. And he was like, oh, well, I can train her if she wants to do that. So he brought me in, and then that's how everything just flooded together.
It fell into place. That's awesome. Who was that wrestler?
That was Cam Carter.
All right. And yeah, it kind of somewhat the same how the podcast came about. I ended up getting the idea, and I started interviewing friends of mine in the business that are here local to me. And then I just started getting this idea. I'm going to run out of people sooner rather than later. So then I was like, I ended up tweeting about something, and then the Maximo brothers, the SATs, they ended up liking it. I'm like, holy crap. This might be a long shot, but let's see if it sticks. And then it just snowballed. And now, as of, what was it? One that I recorded earlier this week, 210. So this will be about 211th recorded episodes.
Ooh, congrats on that. That's a lot of episodes.
And the thing that I laugh about it is I didn't reach 100 until right before the last WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And we're a little ways out from this year's WrestleMania, and I'm already past 200.
Yeah, they working.
Oh yeah, I as Brian Cage would always say, "I'm a machine." I've been a damn machine with it, and I'm just having fun. Now, professional wrestling has been kind of a male dominated thing for like the longest time growing up. And now some like hell, you'd say women's wrestling is oftentimes in match of the night above men's matches. Like hell, we just, as of recording this, we just not too long ago passed the Royal Rumble. And if you asked me, from surprises to just how it all went down, the women's Rumble was better than the men's, at least that night.
Yeah, the women did an amazing job that night. Honestly, I was here for Jordan Grace.
Oh,
I mean,
man, when I saw that, my jaw dropped, and like it took a second because I like her music started, and I was like, wait. And then I see her come out, and I'm like, no.
yeah.
And
She
it's like,
did her thing.
oh god, yeah, she did amazing. And sometimes like last Royal Rumble when Mickey James came out with that title, I was kind of worried, how are they going to make, for lack of a better term, an outsider, even though she had the WWE ties, how are they going to make her look? And I kind of had the same thought with Jordan Grace because she didn't have those WWE ties. But then she got going, and holy moly, she did amazing.
Absolutely. I hope they bring her back in. Definitely.
Though that,
Yeah.
that would be something after her TNA deals up. She proved that night that she could fit right in there for sure. Now, trying to, yeah, I was just taking a look at my notes here. Women's wrestling, whether independent or on a national TV level, the quality is just leaps and bounds above where it had been. I know for me growing up, when it seemed like the women's matches were always those bra and panties matches and that sort of thing. And now you're getting them in cage matches, Hell in a Cell matches, street fights. There's even loads of women on the death match scene, which is just, you wouldn't have thought about that before, like the last, I don't know how many years, but there was definitely that turn. And now I'm having a hard time reading my damn handwriting here. But I kind of had this chat with some people here locally. When it comes to women's wrestling, especially on the independent level, I don't know what my dog is trying to get into there, but with the sheer amount of great talent that's out there, if you can't find good female talent to be on your show, you're probably not looking very hard. I don't know you have any thoughts on that? Because I know there's some promotions that have, talked about bringing in more women, but then let's just say 2 matches in a year, and like, yeah, right.
Yeah, I would definitely say like the bar is definitely set really, really high for women's wrestling as things have progressed over the years. Now, there are women's wrestlers everywhere, 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 and everybody is on different levels. Everybody's learning at different times. So I think promoters just need to be aware of that. Like everybody is still learning in the process of being a pro wrestler, being for the crowd, being a character, and checking off all those boxes. But you could definitely find great women's wrestlers everywhere. It's just depending on what that promoter is looking for and if you're willing to put in the money to bring in the girls.
Yeah. And I just found this out earlier this week that apparently, well, I don't know if they even paid attention to this episode, but a promoter local to me had my show's Facebook page on their Facebook. But after I said some comments on them only bringing in 2 matches in the span of a year, I'm like, man, it's like they aren't even trying. And then it's like, they didn't seem to like that too much.
Yeah, I've seen it with other promotions as well, but there are other promotions that are doing right by the girls and
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
them.
most definitely. I know. No, we talked a little bit about Revolver. They got great talent going through there. With the ties to TNA, a lot of the indies and AEW from time to time. I know, what was it? They got Havoc. They bring in MK Ultra, Masha Slamovich, and that from time to time. Oh, man. Oh, one that I forgotten, actually a former guest, Billy Starks, has actually been through there a handful. I actually had her on, and then a little while after, actually got to see her for the first time in person at a Revolver show in a scramble match, and it was like, okay, like it's one thing seeing it like on Fight TV or some Triller, to whatever the hell they're calling it now, IWTV, but to be there in person and seeing, well, just wrestling in general, there's just something about it, especially on an independent level, because not only are you getting, to be closer for a lot less expensive than that, like a WWE or AEW, but you get that interaction with the talent a lot easier than you would at WWE shows or AEW, because hell, I know some of the WWE shows, if you go to like Access for the WrestleMania week, it's expensive as hell. Now there's also independent levels. There's also all female shows. Like, Mission Pro. I've talked with some people from there. I know Thunder Rosa's got her hands in that, and it's been doing amazing. And I saw that you've had some stuff going on there before. What was that like for you being involved in that?
Definitely. It was fun. I used to fly out to Texas once a month for the shows. And I've like never been to Texas before that whole thing. So it was like all the girls, they're staying in one great big house and setting up, breaking down, bonding over, getting dressed, makeup. I mean, kind of like all the, girl stuff, that we bond over, and then we do business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really fun. Everybody was really nice. When I was there, the fans are amazing and they're really supportive.
I've heard great things about their shows. I haven't got to get down to Texas to see one in person. It's definitely on a bucket list of stuff that I would definitely enjoy doing, because I've heard loads of great things. Another thing that I was wanting to bring up is wrestling definitely seems more inclusive now than it has been. You know, female talents are getting way better booking for the most part than they have been in the past, from the Braun Panties days. And hell, even Effie's Big Gay Brunch is like a huge thing. Like, it's all over. Like, it seems like every collective, that's like a heavily featured thing. And it's awesome because, they say wrestling is for everyone. I say on this show, my podcast is for everyone, because I always say, one of my favorite country singers, Luke Combs, has this song, My Kind of Folk. And one time when I was at a concert of his, he said, no matter how you identify, your skin color, whatever, if you're here, you're wanting to listen to me, you're my kind of folk. So like, if somebody's willing and wanting to tune in to this podcast, they're my kind of people. I don't care race, religion, whatever. If you're happy and being good to others, we're cool.
Absolutely. Wrestling has definitely progressed a lot. Even like I started 5 years ago, and a lot has happened in the past 5 years with the progression of wrestling. I could definitely say 5 years ago, it was not as inclusive as it is now. And it's just amazing, like, how things have changed over time. And like Effie's Big Gay Brunch, like, that's something I went to. I love going there. I always, even when I'm doing bookings and stuff and people are reaching out to me, I always look to make sure that whatever promotion I'm working for is inclusive.
It's an important thing because, wrestling is a form of an entertainment and an escape for a lot of people. When it's done well and people are enjoying themselves, it's an escape. I know I've had personal stuff happen where, pretty much outside of wrestling related stuff, I was not having a good time. But then I get to watching wrestling, whether it be on TV or at a live show. My mind is off of whatever outside of that show, and I'm just 100% enjoying it. And at least for that little bit of time that I'm there, I'm enjoying myself. And that's always nice when people can have that sort of space where, people of different minorities or different orientations, they might not have that welcoming space. Pretty much, maybe for, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but for outside of those shows, they might not have a whole lot of welcoming spots. So it's always awesome that, wrestling is coming along, I mean, for the most part, and, being that space for everybody.
Mm-hmm. It's still a lot of work that
Oh yeah,
definitely has to be done in our industry, but everything is just about progress, the right time, the right opportunities, and those opportunities open doors for other people.
oh yeah. I mean, I know people were talking about the WWE when they started doing the Saudi shows, and it was like, oh, there's no women on the show. But it's like, okay, me having been in the military and been to the Middle East, it's like, okay, that's pretty much been ingrained in their culture that women don't have the freedom and the choices that they do, elsewhere.
Right.
So it's not going to happen overnight that you change that. And with their shows, it started off with the next show, one match, and now they're having multiple. So it's like it's slowly getting there.
Right. Absolutely. And it's like a culture shock in general, and it's something they have to adjust to. And it's not like, oh, it's like maybe like a social norm, but it's a law.
Yeah. Yeah, they have their different set of laws over there, and women have to be a little more covered up there.
Mm-hmm.
There's some places where literally all they got uncovered is their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're getting there. I know I don't get into too much of a political discussion here because people get crazy on that. I try to have this be a lighthearted, fun place for people, and there's stuff that we won't go into that people aren't supportive of the whole deal between the two of them. But hey, if it weren't for them going over there and doing these shows, they'd be back, not allowing women to do anything. And now they're having multiple spots on a show and sometimes stealing the show. So hey, some good came out of it. All right. Now, I also saw a promotion that I'm familiar with because I believe one of the founders used to live here local to me, but Deadlock Pro. I've been seeing loads of good stuff about them and seeing, it promoted on your page. What's it been like for you there? Like for you personally, because, everybody's got their stories with places they're involved in.
DPW has been absolutely amazing. Everything about it. Like as soon as I walk into the building, everybody speaking, hello, how you doing? I mean, it's a very professional environment, but like if you listen to their podcast and everything, like like they're fun guys and they want everybody to, enjoy themselves, but put on a good show and be professional at the same time. So for me, it's been nothing but amazing.
In hell, I know I've been hearing, some stuff getting promoted. I know, excuse me, burps like crazy right now. But I believe Tyler Breeze coming in, or if he hasn't already. I know I saw a little promo there for him, and he's doing his thing after finally getting to get out there after being released by WWE. And hell, he was just here in Omaha not too long ago, and yeah, had a pretty damn good match. He even got some people laughing because there was two people with titles in the match, and it was a triple threat, and he was the only one without a title. So he made a little joke about, I feel out of place.
Yeah, I know him and Chris Danger. They're gonna do a really good job together as a tag.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see how that one comes about. How with what they're chasing there, it's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, checking up, making sure she's not getting into anything. But before we go too much further, I have two categories that I like to put into the show towards the end. First one's a bit of a name game where I try to theme it towards the guests as much as possible. And, I have been trying to feature more female talent on the show. And, having you here and getting to talk about all of that, each of these, all but one of these I have actually met through the show. And the first one is actually a former guest. So I give you the name. You give me some quick thoughts on the person.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't have to be any big story,
Yeah.
just something like quick.
Okay.
First one, doing amazing things with Ring of Honor and AEW, Billy Starks.
Okay. I think Billy Starks is amazing. She's young. She has so many more years in the business. It's just crazy to just imagine what more she can do, you know. So I just know Billy's gonna be very successful.
Oh, yeah. Sky is not even the limit. And her getting the opportunities that she's getting at such a young age just goes for you to think, what else has she got in store for her?
Mhm.
All right. Next one. Man, she is having one hell of a run with Ring of Honor being the women's champion right now, Athena.
Athena, Athena is actually one of the people who actually inspired me to get into the ring. I remember when she like first started in NXT, like her debut, and she came out. I was like, oh, there's like, you know, someone who looked like me, but also like her personality, kind of, you know, the I don't want to say, you know, like the emo gothic kind of look
Mm,
and everything. It was what I was into at the time, you know.
gotcha.
And I was like, I like her, and her finisher was amazing. Everything she
Oh,
did
yeah.
so spot on. And I was like, that's her. And then so when I got into the ring, I was like, you know, feeding off of her energy, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, she definitely has that energy, especially now. Like, I am loving this run with, the Ring of Honor Women's Championship and, her bringing in this whole uh, being the lord of these minions sort of thing. It's very entertaining. Like, I've been seeing clips here and there, and damn cat. All right, cat. My wife and I also got cats, and one being a pain in the ass right now. But yeah, it's some of the stuff that makes me miss having Honor Club right now. Like, my whole thing there was, besides her, they didn't really have their champions on the show for like a long time. But the entertainment from the whole Minions storyline has just been gold. All right, now the next person is actually somebody that I met at the same show I met Athena at, Deonna Purrazzo.
Ah, Virtuosa. Yeah. Diana, I hate to say like everybody's like amazing, but she's definitely amazing. I'm really interested to see how everything goes for her at AEW.
Yeah,
Because
now that she's
seeing,
there.
you know, in TNA, like that's Queen.
Yeah,
Now she's going into AEW. It's so much competition.
yeah.
You know? So I'm really excited to see how her run is gonna go.
Oh yeah. I mean, hell, they're already throwing her right in there with Tony Storm right now. That's proven to be some very entertaining storyline so far.
Mhm.
Last but not least, for the name game, I have not had the pleasure of meeting this person yet, but I am a big fan of theirs. The last Revolver show that I went to, she was actually supposed to be there, but travel airport crap the way it is right now. But we talked about Effie. She has a big team going on with him. Allie Catch.
Um, I'm a mark. I think that says I think that says all that needs to be said. I am a mark for Allie. I am a mark for Effie. And they're doing the damn thing.
Oh
She's
yeah.
doing the thing. Effie's doing the damn thing. They're amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the both of them. I just from the name of their team alone just gets me like, oh, okay, y'all are really trying to Raise some eyebrows there.
Absolutely. They're just so entertaining.
Oh, totally. And, you know, nothing wrong with being a mark for somebody. Like, that word has such a negative connotation to it. But when you think about it, just about everybody in the business right now was that mark for somebody at some point. Being that fan, you're not going to get in and, put your body through what, pro wrestlers put their body through without being a fan at some point.
Absolutely. Actually, I wish I had my phone next to me. Oh, I would show you. And it's actually, I do have it. Let's see. Oh man, I have so many notifications. Hold on, give me 1 second. This is how bad it is.
I love it.
That is how bad it is.
I've not had the opportunity to get to meet him yet, but it's on my list. Like, we've had some interactions through Twitter, X, or whatever the hell you want to call it now, and they've all been pleasant. So hopefully one of these days I get to mark that one off.
Definitely. There are some very influential people in this business who are not afraid to say what needs to be said or whatever, and to make those changes in the progression in the industry. And that's why I geared towards them so much, Yeah.
Totally understandable. And, I can definitely say that, they've I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. They've helped open my eyes to being a lot more inclusive myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll admit, I'm from a small town here in Nebraska originally. I didn't have that much exposure to a lot of stuff until really I got in the Navy and got stationed in San Diego. And even then, still kind of was closed off from, a lot of differing stuff out there. But getting to watch them and have them, really grab my attention, because talented as hell. So that definitely helped open myself, seeing them in something I love. It's like, okay, this is awesome. Like, it doesn't matter how you identify, what minority or what your skin color is. If you have talent, people are going to notice. There's people all over of the LGBT tongue twister, but the LGBTQ plus community, gay, trans, there's loads of them. Like, I've had a few on, and the first one I had on, it was kind of interesting for me, because I had this sneaking feeling. It's like, when it started out, that he was kind of apprehensive, because he was like, he didn't know how it was going to go. And then, like, I try to keep it lighthearted and fun. Like, if you're treating me with respect, hey, I got you. And, kind of help them warm up a bit. It was like, I literally do not care about what somebody does behind closed doors, or how, as long as, like I said earlier, as long as you're happy and you're treating people well and you're trying to be your best self, you're cool with me. That's the way I look at it. All right. Now, before I get into too big of a tangent, I have some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be, some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. That's why I call them random. So, like, I give you the question, you give me the first answer that pops into your head. So, first one, craziest in-match moment that you've been able to witness, whether you were involved or whether you were just involved in the show and you were there to see it.
Like when we say like crazy, it's like good crazy or like bad crazy?
Either one. I've had people tell me both. I've had a member of the NOI family tell me when he was in the original ECW, he had a match against New Jack. And they were told specifically, not to go overboard and break too much shit. And then they proceeded at one point to both go through a wall. And Paul Heyman ended up yelling at them after the match. So, like, I've had all of it.
I would have to say probably craziest, I cannot remember this wrestler's name, but I remember I used to do social media for No Peace Underground. And if for those who don't know, No Peace is a deathmatch company. And I remember it was like he was like, if I lose tonight, I'm gonna retire. And they had this huge setup with like a ladder and like glass tubes, and he power bombed the guy through the ladder, glass tubes, and I was like, oh my god.
I've seen my fair share of death matches now, and my first ever one ended by them taking 4 folding chairs, bridging 2 panes of glass, and then the manager of one rolls in and I see him pull out lighter fluid from his pocket. I'm friends with both that manager and the guy that ended up winning that match. So it's crazy.
I just remember after every show of me like doing social media, I'm like, trying to get up close, but not like too up close, is picking glass out of my hair.
Yeah, you don't get all the blood and glass all over you. Yeah. Those deathmatch wrestling, whether it be deathmatch companies or just a deathmatch in general, whole different animal. Like, I've talked with a few people about, you probably wouldn't want to start a new fan off on death matches. Kind of slowly, inch them that way and see what they think.
It's definitely an overwhelming experience, to say the least.
Hell, I remember a no-ring deathmatch show I went to once where, like, that metal connector end of a light tube flew off and hit me in the foot. Yeah, that was something else. All right. Now, next question here. Hell, I just heard this the other day. Somebody talking about if you could ever see yourself with, like, a big amount of money. I forget how much it was. And, when people have that much money, it's like I like to call, like, they have fuck it money. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, you have always wanted something, but you've never been able to afford it. So you go and you have that money. You're like, fuck it, I'm going to get it. Mm-hmm. What is one of the first things you would do if you had fuck it money?
I know this sounds so cliche, but I would go to my father's childhood home, which is like the projects, and I would probably pay everybody's rent for the year.
Ooh. To help them out. That is not an answer that I've had too many people say, but hey, that is a great, doing something good with it, like with at least part of it, doing something good with it. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's just like my first thing, because if it's just like, I don't know, I just have different views about like what should be done with like big amounts of money. It's like, you're blessed, okay, well, bless somebody else and it'll come back to you.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with helping people out, doing something good with it. And then, you know what? After you've done that, treating yourself to something. Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
All right. Now, as of recording this, we are little over a week away from the Super Bowl. One of the big eating events of the year for people that aren't actually going to be there. Because, goddamn, if I had fucking money, maybe this would be one place that I go. But, with stuff like that, or just food in general, people have their favorites. What would you say is a favorite food of yours?
Favorite food?
Yeah.
Food. Ooh, tacos.
Can't go wrong there.
Oh, tacos.
Oh, man. There's this place that unfortunately isn't around anymore, but my wife had introduced me to, and I kid you not, all she would have to do is say, hey, you want to go? And I'm like, why aren't we there yet?
Yeah.
And man, the tacos there were amazing. It unfortunately, right before Christmas, like a year or two ago, burnt down. And my wife and I were actually there. Like, we had gone to dinner. It was one of those things like, hey, you want to go there? I'm like, let's go. We go in, and a little smoky, but we figured out somebody probably burnt something in the kitchen or something. Because nobody was freaking out. Everybody was like, we are just about to order our food. And somebody goes up to the owner because they saw something in the fireplace. Before we know it, they're having everybody get out. And within a couple minutes after us getting to our car, the smoke was so thick coming out of there, you couldn't see inside the open door.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They didn't rebuild it?
They were attempting to, but then stuff got way too expensive.
Oh, yeah, my feelings would have been hurt.
Oh, trust me. When I was excited because they said that they were gonna try to be rebuilt within this year, but then they posted on Facebook and it got on the news that they weren't going to be able to rebuild. So that night was definitely a bit of a bummer, to say the least. I know for me, favorite food, tacos, right up there. My wife jokes every time we go to any Italian place that I don't even need a menu because I'm always looking for lasagna, like wherever we go. And I'm like, I know what I like.
With meat sauce?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Like, hell, one time she wanted to go to Olive Garden. She was like, you don't even need the menu. Like, yeah.
Olive Garden is definitely a go-to for me.
Oh, man. People trash it, but goddamn, they got some damn good lasagna.
Olive Garden is so good to me. They can trash all they want, but
throwing that salad, the dressing they already have on there. Oh,
I have it in my refrigerator right now, the big bowl.
oh. Like, I will always take the breadsticks and like the leftover glops of the dressing they're still in there. I'll just rub it around in there. Oh my God, I'm getting hungry just talking about it. All right. Now, with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or one of each, because I know I've had plenty of people on that for one reason or another don't drink, which I respect. So I try to be respectful of that.
So right now, unfortunately, I'm fasting. But my go-to drink is a Long Island.
Ooh, that's a good choice. Good choice. I know me when it comes to mixed stuff, I'm kind of simple. It's either margaritas or I do enjoy a good Jack and Coke with grenadine.
Yeah.
You put grenadine in there, it tastes like a Jack and Cherry Coke.
Yeah.
It is delicious. Yeah. I don't know. I first had one on to my honeymoon, and then it's like I just loved it. And if I get a mixed drink anywhere, that's pretty much what I'm getting.
I might have to do that once I get off my little fast.
Yeah. Once you get off that.
Yeah.
The other one I kind of. Oh, what were you gonna say? I didn't mean to.
Teas.
Oh, those are good. Yeah. Those are good. The other kind of mix that I kind of stumbled on. I'm a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend when it comes to, non-alcoholic stuff. Mm-hmm. And I had grabbed a can, and then in my fridge, I saw that I had one of those shooter bottles of Jack Honey. So I was like, oh my God, it was good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, it was delicious. All right. Now, last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Anybody wanting to get into wrestling. Consistency is key. You have to be consistent in whatever you do, whether that's wrestling, that's announcing, that's being a booker, whatever you're doing, you need to be consistent. You need to study. Because it's definitely, the industry is big and small at the same time, and you need to be different from everybody else, and being different is going to get you in the places that you want to go. And then also realizing when you start off that getting a lot of bookings is okay, but you need to start knowing your worth and picking quality over quantity at some point in time if you want to be bigger.
Yeah. Nope, that definitely makes sense, because hell, I've been to my fair share of shows that I'm like, oh God. Like just one show, to be respectful to the friends I have that actually wrestle there. I went to this one show because a friend of mine was told that he was going to be getting a tag title shot. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go. I'll be supportive of my friend. And I left right after his match because the rest of the show besides their match was just, if I had any more hair left on my head, I probably would have pulled it out. Like I said, not naming names because, or naming the promotion, because I try to keep it respectful and fun here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's definitely those promotions that probably not so much quality there. Mm-hmm. So it's always important to, like you said, know your worth, know what quality places are out there. So, when people look at the places that you've been, like you see people, posting things about their resumes, like, companies they've worked for and people they've trained under, when they look at those lists, they're like, okay, each of those places I already know is a damn good spot. So if he's getting booked there, I need to get him here.
Exactly.
Definitely. And hell, there's even those training spots. It goes the same there. There's some great quality ones out there, like literally just about every part of the country you're in. It ain't like back in the day where you'd probably have to take an airplane to get to some of these.
Yep.
And then there's also those not so quality ones where they're basically just taking your money. So, like along the same lines of the matches and stuff. People see the places you've trained under. Boom. I know tons that it's like, oh, Santino Brothers out in California. There's Black and Brave Academy right next door here in Iowa. That, people see that you've come from those spots.
Mm-hmm.
They know that you know your shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, before I get into another tangent, because Lord knows I do that sometimes, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
Absolutely. All of my social media handles is just Nadiah Hunter, Nadiah with an H, Nadiah Hunter. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much all social media platforms.
All righty. Yeah, we'll definitely get all that in the description. Well, my dogs are trying to get my attention because I'm thinking they're hungry. So I better go get that taken care of. But before we go, thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. And best of luck out there 2024 and beyond.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. That means a lot. I can be a little bit of my own worst critic. So when my guests mention, having a fun time, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something good. All right, we're done. Well, have a good one.